Hello and welcome to the Gems of Wrestling podcast. Coming to you amidst the coronavirus pandemic, the awful... Hello and welcome to the Gems of Wrestling podcast. Coming to you amidst the coronavirus pandemic, the awful thing you might have heard about out there.
Seeing as we're all stuck in lockdown.
Hence the different format for recording. Obviously, we cannot be around each other because one of us has it, but we're not going to tell you which one.
Oh, Jesus. Right, that's a good start.
I'm Flemerald, joined as always by No Gimmicks Needed.
Hello.
And Rusty Pudding.
Hello.
I've got an absolutely horrific cough, so if I start absolutely hacking, like, don't worry, I'm not going to die.
Oh.
Well. Oh.
Fuck.
I thought he was going, as in, he's not going to die.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, on the topic of death and morticians and undertakers and dead men.
Wow, what a segue. That was brilliant.
Today's podcast is all about the eras of The Undertaker. There's been a lot.
Fucking hell, yeah.
How many have we narrowed them down to?
20, was it?
20. We've got 20 different eras of The Undertaker. Great. Some of them are shorter than others. Some of them are only kind of brief periods, but are worth mentioning for one reason or another. And what we're going to do is we're going to rank them.
Isaac Rankham.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. Sorry.
We're going to go through The Undertaker chronologically throughout his career. And in the end, we're going to tally up scores that we're going to give individually, total them up, and come up with a definitive list of the best eras of The Undertaker. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, there's some Undertakers that are really good, but I think there's some that are not so good, should I say.
Just forgotten about. And
I think there's some that are kind of looked upon as being good. People reflect on them well, but they are not.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can bring that out. We can let people know that there are some terrible Undertakers out there.
Well, I mean, let's just be honest.
Undertaker, he was a pretty terrible Undertaker.
Yeah, the Undertaker was pretty trash, wasn't
He is disqualified from this list, just for the record.
he? Oh. But yeah, let's be honest. The Undertaker, what? You say 20 eras of him? And he's been going for fucking hell. How many years now has he been going?
30 years.
30 years.
And then, arguably has the best match of WrestleMania this year.
Oh, okay.
Arguably, people, just saying.
Oh, people were digging it.
Opinion. Yeah. I've heard mostly positive things, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. We'll get to that because our eras have continued to the modern day. We have gone right up until this year's WrestleMania 36, is it?
I've just seen on the list that, yeah.
You finally looked at the list, have you?
No, I looked at it before, but I looked at the wrong list.
All right, well, now we're going to start. We're going to go from the very beginning. Do you remember when the beginning was?
The one with that guy with a red face.
November 1990, The Undertaker, the Western Mortician, we've called him, because that's what he was, basically.
I know, he was cool. I like that. I like that idea.
I'm not like right at the top of my list because that is the definitive Undertaker.
Well, what we're going to do, we're all going to score him out of 10, aren't we? So then we can total that up out of 30, and that's how we're going to come up with our list. But the sort of features of this early Undertaker is he was emotionless, he was zombie-like, he was indestructible, and he was under complete control of the urn. With Brother Love, when he first debuted, there wasn't an urn, but when they brought Paul Bearer in, he had the urn, and that controlled the Undertaker completely.
Thank God.
How do we like this era Undertaker? And the
well, if you look at
kayfabe was still a thing, so
yeah, that's true.
You've got to try and disregard the silliness of the urn because back then it was, well, I'm not going to say entirely more believable, but at least a little bit.
Well, I think the thing is, you look at the picture that you sent us. If you cover up Brother Love,
yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
Yes.
Brother Love looks like an absolute doofus.
Can we describe the look of the Undertaker? What's he wearing?
He's got a very big tie.
Yeah.
Is it like a cravat? Is that what it's called?
I mean, it is a cravat, yeah, but why is he wearing it like a tie?
No one told him.
Yeah.
Would you want to tell him?
No, to be fair, I would not. But the look in his eyes is intense. You know, he is an intimidating figure. Absolutely. And this Undertaker would last until February 1992. Are we all giving a score to this Undertaker?
Say this is the first Undertaker.
I give him a 10. Just because
10?
It's the Undertaker. It's the first Undertaker.
Wow.
I was going to give it a 5.
Ooh, are you happy with that 5 or?
Yeah, definitely happy with a 5. Because it's the first Undertaker, but it's not the best Undertaker.
Okay, I'll drop it a bit. I'm going to say 8.
Okay.
It is not the Undertaker I remember either.
Yeah, see, that's always going to be a big part of it as well, because I do remember this Undertaker. I remember being intimidated by him. I mean, probably not at the time he was around, but I remember having videotapes where he was in this form. And I was terrified of him.
Well, is this the same Undertaker that scares me every time we're recording at your house?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll give him 6.
6. Okay, 6. So it's an 8, a 6, and I'm giving him a 7. So right in the middle of
right down the middle, yeah.
Right down the middle. This might be worth noting as well that this was during this era, the urn was stolen for the first time by Hulk Hogan of all people. That's how Hulk Hogan defeated The Undertaker to win the belt back 6 days after losing it.
Fucking hell.
He stole the urn, emptied the ashes out, and all of a sudden The Undertaker was vulnerable. And he beat him.
With a leg drop?
Probably. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it was probably a leg drop.
Fucking Hulk Hogan, I love him. We should do a like Hulk Hogan era list.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or just like a retrospective of Hulk Hogan.
Oh, totally.
I imagine there'll be a lot of slagging going on.
You could do that for plenty of wrestlers, actually. That could be our thing.
Okay.
Just little retrospectives.
I'm down for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Let's move on to number 2, Undertaker, chronologically. From February 1992, this Undertaker turned babyface. He didn't change much physically, or his attire didn't change much. He's still a pallbearer in the urn, but now he had a conscience.
He was good guy Taker.
Good guy Taker. He stopped Jake the Snake from attacking Elizabeth.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where he drew the line when Jake asked him whose side are you on? He said, not yours.
Not yours.
And then Jake slammed his arm.
Well.
Yeah, absolutely. First time he spoke. Yeah, absolutely. And he got a coffin slammed on his arm, and he continued to stalk Jake the Snake, dragging the coffin behind him. Absolutely brilliant visual.
That is ace, yeah.
Oh, see, I was too young to remember that.
Really?
Oh, it was
of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 91. I don't remember shit when I was 1.
Yeah, we're a little bit older than you, aren't we? I sometimes forget. But we're calling this Undertaker the Reaper of Souls because he was mostly given the gimmick of taking down big guys, big gimmicks like Papa Shango, Jake the Snake, Nails, the Berserker, who he hit the Undertaker with his shield during a match and tried to stab him with his sword. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
There's an angle right there in it. That is a brilliant angle.
During this time as well.
Stabbing.
And he took on a variety of guys managed by Harvey Wimpleman, like Sid Justice Kamala, who Undertaker faced in the first coffin match, Giant Gonzalez.
Kamala? I didn't know he wrestled Kamala.
Yeah. You're taking the piss.
Yeah, because that was the joke, because Ollie hated it.
No, it's Kama.
Oh, they're all the same.
Kamala.
They're all the same.
I'm not going to go where I was going to go with that, but that could have been quite controversial. Mr. Hughes, who stole the urn as well, he took it for a few months, and the Undertaker got it back after defeating Gonzalez at SummerSlam '93.
Mr. Hughes, who's Mr. Hughes? Is that the big black guy?
Yes, he used to wear shades in the.
Yeah. Okay.
He
was-
actually.
Before, didn't we, about him breaking his glasses and
Yes.
his eyes?
Yes, yeah, that was his last match in the World Wrestling Federation of that first run. That happened, and Vince basically said, "Yeah, I ain't having you wrestling for me anymore."
I think that we talked about that in our shotgun series.
He did.
Yeah.
I think he re-emerged in '97. Triple H's valet, I believe. Bodyguard, I should say. We all good?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you both cut out.
No, we're still here. There's going to be some technical difficulties because this is the first time we've attempted this.
Yeah, we may find a better way of recording.
But for now, this is the best you're going to get.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. This Undertaker, the Reaper of Souls, as we've called him, he also took on Yokozuna. That was his big feud. This is where he, first of all, he came across the Undertaker came across Yokozuna at the Survivor Series, where he joined the All Americans team to take on the Foreign Fanatics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And to officially join that team, he opened his jacket up like Batman. He spread his cape.
Oh, and he had the flag.
He had stars and stripes stitched
I remember.
into his jacket.
I've seen that.
How fitting is it, the Undertaker being like a patriot? How do you feel about this zombie-like character being a patriotic guy?
Well, what, this man who's the eater of souls, the dead man, will bury people alive, but you slag off my country, I'm not having it.
Gimmicks, what do you reckon?
I have no words for this.
Do you know why he wore it once?
Because it looks stupid.
Well, yeah, there is that, but he went to Vince at the day of the Survivor Series and said that he couldn't wear that lining anymore because his dog ate it.
The dog ate my lining.
The dog ate the lining of my jacket. I can't wear it again. That was it. Vince never questioned him. Yeah. That was his way of just saying, Vince, this ain't happening. So this Undertaker, he was put in a casket at the Royal Rumble, and the lid was closed against Yokozuna. To be fair, it took about 15 years.
Yeah, they all ran out, didn't they, to get him in?
Yes.
I remember that.
And the smoke came out of the casket. The urn was tipped over again, and it was all chaos. Then the Undertaker flashed on the screen and ascended to the heavens. He was dead. He was officially dead.
With the lightning and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was this the first time he died then?
Yes. 94 Royal Rumble. He was dead for the first time.
Oh my God.
So that kind of brings an end to this Undertaker. It's a good place to cut that era off, the Reaper of Souls. Any thoughts on sort of 92, 93 Undertaker, just taking on big guys for the sake of taking on big guys?
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Who else is going to be able to take down these big guys other than the big guy? The big dog.
Because, Hulk Hogan was gone by this point. I know he left for most of 92. He'd come back for a little bit of 93. But The Undertaker was probably like the biggest babyface they had physically.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's weird Undertaker being a babyface, though. Like a full babyface.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that idea.
I've never really assigned him as being a babyface or a heel, to be honest. He's always...
No, I agree.
Kind of transcended that kind of...
Yeah. I mean, there is times where you could define him as a heel, but no, he was his own thing.
Like Ministry Taker is like, you could probably safely put him in heel, but...
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time it feels like he just walks that line.
It sounds weird referring to, a zombie as a babyface. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can a zombie be a babyface?
Yeah.
A full babyface is silly. It's like Austin was never a full babyface.
Oh, absolutely. No, he did.
Anti-hero.
he was an anti-hero. Whereas if you put like baby faces and heels on like ladders of where they are in the company, the Undertaker would not be on either of those ladders. You know,
No,
he stands on his own. That's the way I look at him.
I agree.
How do we rate the Reaper of Souls from 92 to 94?
From what I've seen and remember, I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's a tough one actually because I do like the Royal Rumble with Yokozuna.
Yeah,
I thought that was
that
pretty.
defines it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Personally,
What was Paul Bearer like at this point then?
he was Paul Bearer, just doing his thing. Just oh yes,
Oh, Paul Bearer, like that.
my Undertaker.
Yeah. So he's still a bit of a bellend.
yeah. If it's not your thing, then it was a bit bell-endy.
4.
ooh,
Oh wow!
Yeah, going low on that one.
No gimmicks.
oh, I look upon this one really fondly. Like that Royal Rumble just kind of it stuck with me.
Yeah.
That moment with the lightning and the rest in peace on the Titantron and everything, it just for a young me that was like everything. So I don't know, it's got to be like an 8 or something like that. 'Cause it's just so iconic.
A strong 8. I like it. Okay. Yeah. It is an iconic moment, and for that reason, I would like to score it high. But then I'm thinking his matches with Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, the match.
Was that really his fault though?
No, it's not his fault. No, but it's just not a very good era. Like he wasn't used very well when he was facing Giant Gonzalez.
Well, yeah, okay. Take that one match out. Look at the rest of the matches. How do they stack up?
Well, they wrestled twice. And to be fair, like Kamala in the first coffin match, that was terrible. I'm going to give him a 6. Reaper of Souls is getting a 6 from me.
See, this list is going to be interesting because as soon as we get to the later ones, I'm going to start rating them higher.
Yeah.
But you'll be rating them low because they're some of the ones that you didn't see through through the Ruthless Aggression era and all that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's my problem. It's like from like 2002 to about 2015-16, I'm completely out the loop.
Yeah. Now I'm the same. A little bit of a shorter gap. Like I would say, I probably phased out about 2006 till 2011. But yeah, no, Rusty is completely in charge of that era, whereas we. I honestly, when I was doing my research, it was like reading a brand new story. I had no idea with a lot of this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, the third Undertaker, the third era, we've got the Dead Man officially because he died at the Royal Rumble. He returned at SummerSlam when first of all, he vanquished the Undertaker. Then he went back and he finished off Yokozuna. He got his revenge on him at the Survivor Series 94 and spent the rest of his time throughout 95 and into 96 taking on the $1 Million Corporation. He still had Paul Bearer with him, but he had a new look. Can anyone describe his new look at this time?
Well, he's got a big tie again.
To be fair, his look is absolutely the same apart from one distinct difference.
He's adopted the purple.
He has.
His purple hat.
Yeah, his purple hat, his purple cravat. Do we remember why he went for purple?
Was it after he vanquished Undertaker?
Exactly.
Did one wear grey and one wore purple?
Exactly. The Undertaker, who obviously at the time Ted DiBiase was claiming was the real Undertaker, wore grey that the Undertaker had previously worn. So the real Undertaker wore purple to sort of distinguish the difference between the two.
Just in case there was ever like a point where you needed to shoot one of them. And he could go, "No, I'm the real Undertaker. Look at the purple."
I'm just picturing somebody like shuffling them in the middle of the ring. And Paul Bearer's got to pick the right one.
Yeah, he's got the urn in one hand. He's like, "Oh my god, I don't know who to kill."
Well, purple was the distinguishing difference between them. My notes are quite short on this era of The Undertaker, mostly because he didn't really do a lot. We've been watching the In Your Houses. We watched a few of them, haven't we? And The Undertaker doesn't appear at the first few. He's always in dark matches because he was being used as the attraction to live events, the house shows. You know, you're not going to see him all the time on TV. You're not going to see him on pay-per-view. You have to come to see us live to see The Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool that he's used as that kind of attraction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just a shame for him during this era that he wasn't kind of, what's the word? He wasn't predominant utilized on TV. He wasn't utilized as a big star on TV. He was the attraction off TV.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Actually, 2.
You're giving him a 2?
Yeah, only because, like you said, he didn't do fuck all.
No. I mean, all he really did was take on the corporation. You know, he fought IRS, he fought Bundy, he fought Kama multiple times, all on pay-per-views. He didn't really do much. Kama stole his urn and melted it down into a necklace.
Of course.
Or actually, IRS stole the urn first, and then Kama, he won it back. Then Kama stole it. It got melted down to a necklace. Eventually, Mabel stole the necklace, and the Undertaker got it back. It's just a whole shit show.
Fucking hell.
And that's where this era ends off, in his feud with Mabel, because Mabel, of course, is the man that broke his face, broke Undertaker's orbital bone.
I stand by my 2.
You stand by it too? All right, okay. Well, this era, the Dead Man, I'm going to go a bit more generous than that, but I'm going to give it a 4. No gimmicks?
See, I know the Undertaker angle thing you look back now and it was crap, but as a kid, I actually quite dug it.
Yeah,
but like you say, he didn't do an awful lot, so I'm going to go for 5.
I think that's the point with this era, is that it started off mediocre with that match, Taker versus Undertaker, and then it just went downhill from there till it ended up with Undertaker versus Mabel.
Oh man.
Then Mabel kind of white hot in Vince's eyes, wasn't he?
He was. We've discussed this. He's definitely looked back on a bit harshly, really. I think he's better than what people remember. But
from what we've seen, we've kind of liked him a little bit, haven't we? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. In the In Your House series, which is yet to air, where we'll be working on that in the near future. Anyway, the next era of The Undertaker, short one, from November 95 to February 96, we have The Phantom of the Opera.
I think they could have done more with this.
Go on.
I think they had the opportunity, they had Undertaker, and let's be honest, the mask looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I love the mask, and I think it was short-lived. I think they could have ran with this for a while and had him as, like, Undertaker in the shadows.
Yeah.
You know, like how the crow, how Sting was used.
Yeah.
Like, just lurking in the shadows and watching people.
I think that.
I think they could have done that with Undertaker at this point.
Is it crazy to think that Cody ran with a mask gimmick for longer than Taker did?
Yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely. But the thing with the Undertaker, he could have been that kind of justice in the WWF. You know, at a time when a lot of matches on pay-per-view, especially, were disqualifications and countouts and things like that. He could have been, as you say, just lurking in the shadows to even the odds. You know, if somebody's trying to do a run-in, he turns up, stops them. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Shield, as though they were supposed to be. You know, the Shield originally, the Hounds of Justice. He could have been the big dog of justice.
The zombie of justice.
The zombie Hound of Justice. Do we have any?
Yeah, I like them. Go on. No, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, do we have any memories of the Phantom of the Opera Undertaker, whose defining feature was literally a mask that was essential to protect his face?
Well, I think this is the first Undertaker that I could ever, like, I have very vague memories of seeing, like, as a child.
Okay.
Because I would be, what, 4, 5, 6-ish?
Yeah.
So I can, I don't remember him much, but, I've got a vague memory somewhere in my head of seeing that for the first time.
Yeah.
And not really knowing what was going on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just this guy with a badass mask on for no apparent reason.
You know, I just wanted to watch the Flintstones. It's like, turn this shit off. Put fucking Flintstones on, mum, you bitch.
God, the Jetsons, I understand, but the Flintstones, come on.
I like the Flintstones because it had a laugh track.
I love yeah, it did, yeah. I love the Flintstones background.
Like the animators are so arrogant that they have to put, well, this joke's really funny, so we'll have to give it a big laugh track.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're sat there judging their own jokes, going, yeah, this is a massive one.
Right, guys.
Okay, all right.
Best...
Okay, how are we rating the Phantom of the Opera Undertaker? Like I say, short-lived, 3 months. It disappeared in February when the Undertaker made an appearance at the In Your House that year, dragging Diesel to hell through the ring. Nope. But short-lived. It was a necessity at the time. How do we rate the Phantom of the Opera?
I'm going to give it a 3 because I think it could have been better, but it wasn't.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll probably just give it a 3 because it was so short.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 3 as well.
Round.
Yeah, I mean, like we say, it's like they dropped it as soon as they could do. As soon as he was physically cleared to take it off, they dropped it instead of using it as more of an angle. But
maybe Undertaker hated wearing the mask.
Possibly, yeah. Anyway, the fifth Undertaker, we're a quarter of the way there. The Lone Ranger. The reason we've named him the Lone Ranger is from February 96, November 96. For a good portion of that, he was alone for the first time. Paul Bearer ditched him at SummerSlam of that year.
Did Paul Bearer go to anyone else, or did he just leave?
He went to Mankind. He turned on the Undertaker
Mankind
to join. That's it. The day after WrestleMania this year, Mankind debuted and attacked the Undertaker right off the bat. I think he had a squash match on Raw, and then at the main event of Raw, he attacked the Undertaker. And throughout most of the year, for the first time ever, Undertaker kind of had a psychological match. Somebody that could not compete with him physically, but could psychologically match him. And
yeah, that's great. I like that.
It was a different thing. Instead of taking on big guys like Giant Gonzalez, and I keep going back to him, but that's the best example. He was taking on someone smaller, but somebody that had an edge on him. And yeah, it was Mankind. Also, Goldust throughout '96. Undertaker intermittently feuded with Goldust as well, which is a rivalry that's kind of overlooked, really.
I was going to say, I think that's overlooked quite a lot. But, I think that's quite an interesting matchup, to be honest.
Yeah, because Goldust is a big guy, big tall guy.
Can obviously wrestle as well.
Good wrestler and a great gimmick, a great psychological gimmick. So yeah, it's definitely an overlooked rivalry that. But yeah, throughout '96, he was matched by Goldust and Mankind, and that's what he spent most of the year doing, trying to get one over on them two.
I have to give this one a high one, to be honest. I'm gonna go 7 on this.
Yeah.
Only because of the Mankind feud, beginning of the Mankind feud itself. Okay. I think it's such an iconic feud in Undertaker's legacy. Yeah. Like it'd be stupid to not give it a higher vote, I guess.
Do you think that it went from, like, say, '95, he was a house show attraction, to now he's got a great story to tell. He's got a great person to have an angle with.
Yeah. Well, it showed that his psychological side more, I suppose, in the ring.
Exactly. Yeah. He was
he couldn't just beat up Mankind. You have to do other shit to him.
Yeah. That's it. I think fireballs were thrown during this rivalry, and all that good shit. And this is the early rivalry. We've not even got to '98 where it ramped up with Mankind, but
big.
And also, probably the most important part of this era is he lost the cravat.
Oh my God! I've just noticed. But he has got them fancy purple gloves, so I'm happy with that.
I like them. I do like them gloves. What we rate in the Lone Ranger Undertaker? No Paul Bearer, slightly more humanized and outmatched by psychological warfare.
Yeah, I'll go 7.
7?
Yeah, 7 seems like a good solid number.
Okay. I don't want to copy it, but 7 is... No, I'm going to have to go with it. Yeah, 7 is my answer as well.
Yeah.
Mostly, like you say, for the Mankind, that rivalry, it took The Undertaker to another level. And the 6th era, the Phenom was born.
I like the picture of him.
With his...
he looks like he should be in The Cure.
I hate that hat. That picture.
Like the way he's holding the belt. You need to put this picture up on the Facebook page because I love this picture. The way he's holding the belt, he's got a slight little pout on his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, teardrop tattoo.
Yeah.
The teardrop, the hat, this stupid hat.
Probably, I mean, there's a big difference. He's now wearing leather for the first time. But yeah, he's got that teardrop on his face. What was that about?
Because he's bleeding inside.
Well, isn't that supposed to signal that you've murdered
someone? Yeah, it does, yeah.
So maybe. I mean, he had a buried alive match with Mankind, so... But to be fair, that buried alive match, he ended up in the grave, so...
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, this Undertaker, he basically had enough of being outmatched psychologically, and he started demanding respect from everybody. That was his new kind of gimmick, is that I'm no longer the zombie guy, I'm just a badass dude, and I want respect from everyone. And he kind of got that respect by winning the heavyweight title for the second time.
Well, yeah, he had an actual run with this one, didn't he? Then he hold it for a little bit. How long did he hold it for?
He held it for about 6 months.
I see, that's all right.
Yeah. That was it. He was the top guy for a good 6 month run. Never the face of the company, as we've discussed before, but he was definitely a top guy for a good period.
Isn't this where Kane started getting teased as well?
It is, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Pardon me. Well, we kind of... At the end of this era, so we will move on. How do we rate the Phenom, the title run? He beat Sid at WrestleMania. He took on Austin, Vader, Mankind, before he eventually lost the belt to Brett.
I think this is probably his first like kind of character shift, really.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, he was always just, regardless of what he was doing, he was still a dead man.
Yeah.
And like you said, this one he's like...
There was only subtle changes before now.
Yeah,
yes.
This one he kind of just wants to be a guy who's just a badass.
Yeah.
So this is his first proper gimmick change to a degree.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
97. What? Name me some big matches that happened.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, obviously the Sid match at WrestleMania. The Final 4 match at the pay-per-view just before WrestleMania to decide the champion. You put me on the spot. Who did he take on at Survivor Series? I don't think he was at Survivor Series 96.
What?
Yeah, no, I think he missed it. He took on Stone Cold. Mankind was his first rival. Again, I don't think they're matches that are that well remembered. He took on Farouk at King of the Ring.
Oh, 6.
Well, based on he had a match with Farouk for the
5. I'll go 5. I'll go 5.
Okay, 5 it is. No gimmicks.
I'm gonna go 6. Oh, I don't know. 7 because he had a decent title run and
yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. I've just off the top of my head, and I'm sure some of these matches are good. I'm sure against Stone Cold or against Mankind or Farouk, I'm sure some of them are good matches, but off the top of my head, I can't remember them. So
that was the point I was getting at, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I asked you and you couldn't really remember.
Which kind of changes as we move into the next era, because it just before the King of the Ring, so it kind of overlaps in eras, but the Undertaker was taken control of by Paul Bearer again, who had that secret.
Oh. The
secret that he was threatening to unleash unless the Undertaker took him back, basically. And Bearer had Undertaker doing things that he didn't want to do, had him beating people down for the sake of it. Almost led to a title match between the Undertaker and Ahmed Johnson.
Imagine my God! Imagine that.
Fortunately, Ahmed Johnson got injured.
Could have shortened his career.
Did you say fortunately Ahmed Johnson got injured?
Yes. We didn't have to see that match.
What a dick.
So, pardon me. So the Undertaker eventually snaps. He'd had enough of Paul Bearer, and he said, "That's it. I don't care what you do." And Paul Bearer revealed the secret, which was, "Go on,
Kane's alive.
Kane's alive. Kane is alive," and it played out over months and months. This is sort of July of '97.
See, I remember all this.
Yeah, this is memorable. So memorable. So July of '97. It wasn't until October that Kane debuted. But from July '97 to January '98, I'm going to call him the Grim Reaper because he killed his parents.
Well.
That is a brilliant name. What a brilliant reason for that name.
That's the story they told. He burnt down the funeral home where his parents were killed in that fire. Kane was alive and he's coming back to get the Undertaker. Undertaker kind of ignored it for a while, but it was playing on his mind. He ended up losing the belt to Brett because of Shawn Michaels' antics. For the rest of '97, he was sort of hell-bent on getting back at Shawn Michaels. What do we remember of this era of the Undertaker? Like, is there anything that sticks out in your mind?
Well, it's '98, so he ended this in '98.
Yeah, the beginning of '98. Basically, we're ending this era when he was. Well, I'll tell you the event Royal Rumble '98. You can tell me exactly what happened then. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
What happened at Royal Rumble?
Oh well, he had his match against Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
The casket match, and that's the night where Shawn Michaels got like legit really badly injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good match though.
It was a very good match. Yeah, even after that incident, he still continued. But what happened after the match?
Oh yeah, shit. I forgot about this. So Undertaker's in the casket.
Yep.
Kane comes out.
Yep.
Hacks away at the casket with an axe, and then pours gasoline in it and just burns him alive.
Sets the casket on fire.
Simple as that. There you go. Done. Job's good done.
Jobs are good. I loved it at the time. Well, I didn't love it. Obviously, it was quite a shocking thing, but it was a big moment for me.
It was a massive spectacle.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's only over the years you kind of realise why was he chopping it up with an axe? What was the point of that? Oh yeah, he's making sure the Undertaker's not actually in there anymore before he sets it on fire.
See, I'm gonna have to rate this one quite high, to be honest.
Go on.
I know it's like we're on about the Undertaker, but it led to one of the greatest debuts of all time, I think, with Kane.
Yeah, smack in the middle of this era Undertaker. Yeah, Kane debuted at Bad Blood in the Hell in a Cell match.
And it was an awesome debut.
Ripping the door off. Oh, yeah. Awesome.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay, an 8. Nice, big 8 for me. Solid 8. No gimmicks?
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, he had 2 brilliant matches with Shawn Michaels, or 3 if you include the casket match.
Yeah.
3 pay-per-view awesome matches against Shawn Michaels, and they wouldn't wrestle again on pay-per-view until, I believe, their WrestleMania matches all them years later.
Nuts, isn't it?
Nearly, over a decade later. It's crazy.
That is nuts.
But like you say, the spectacle of the casket match, the debut of Kane.
First Hell in a Cell match.
First Hell in a Cell. It all happened in this era. And not only that, but then Undertaker and Kane, they kind of teamed up for a little bit. Undertaker had refused to face Kane, and Kane seemed to accept that before turning on Undertaker at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. I'm well happy with that.
Yeah, I agree.
That era of the Undertaker. After that, once the Undertaker came back from the dead again, do you remember how he came back from the dead first?
No, I can't remember.
No.
A casket appeared on the ramp, as it does. Lightning struck it, and the Undertaker sat up out of the coffin. He was back alive.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I mean, that was a good 6 weeks after the Royal Rumble, so he did sit out for a little while.
Well, yeah, it only takes 6 weeks to recover from third-degree burns, Liam. Jesus, right?
What about an axe to the head?
Yeah, 6 weeks. Shake it off, innit? It's done.
Well, I'm going to call this one the Dark Lord because he returned to his sort of supernatural roots. He really was. Him and Kane were throwing lightning bolts at each other.
Oh, yeah, they were. Trying to hit in the face.
Yes. Kane was setting people on fire. The attendant at the ring got set on fire. It was all.
Yeah. Yeah, he shot the lightning bolt at the lighting guy in the rafters.
He did, absolutely.
It was incredible.
Oh, it was a good era. It was a good era. Cheesy as hell when you think about it, when you look back now, but absolutely loved it.
They should have had a magic match. Where you just use spells.
Because that is what it is. They're casting spells on each other.
Well, I'm looking at a picture, and Undertaker looks like a warlord.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he looks like he's some sort of sorcerer supreme.
Can you describe what he's wearing? What his get-up is?
Well, he's got a nice little like what would you call it? A cape?
He's got like a cape on, yeah, with
the world's biggest collar.
A big diamond-shaped collar at the back of his head. It kind of looks like armor that he's wearing, doesn't it? Like it looks like a chest protector wearing over it. It does look like a complete different guy.
I think this is the most emo he's ever looked.
I definitely, absolutely, I agree with that.
You know, the hair over one of his eyes is like, oh, I'm a bad guy.
How do we feel about this Undertaker? In fact, let's just talk through a few things that happened because this lasted until December of '98. And during this era, he got the better of Kane, first and foremost. Then he kind of teamed with Stone Cold, but it was they didn't trust each other. Then Undertaker turned on Austin and formed the first version of the Brothers of Destruction. They weren't named that yet, but the Undertaker and Kane did team up.
Yeah.
Then they took the belt off Austin. They became puppets of Vince McMahon before breaking Vince McMahon's ankle.
Oh yeah, with the steps.
Yeah.
Kane did it.
That's it, because Vince he'd stuck his finger up at them as they were walking away. Undertaker turned around, caught him.
Wait. Isn't this the period where there was that Inferno match?
Straight after. Yeah.
And Undertaker set fire to Vince McMahon's teddy bear?
Oh, that's a little bit later. That is a little bit later.
Oh, have I gone to it? Oh, no. I've jumped the gun.
That is coming up very soon. In fact, I think it's the next era Undertaker. We will get to that. But there is an Inferno match. The first one happened in this era, the Dark Lord era, as we're calling it. This era kind of ended when the Undertaker, he seemed to have not a lot going on. His partnership with Kane disintegrated. He kind of disappeared a little bit off TV. And then he would return as a more evil character. But yeah, what do we make of the Dark Lord, the one that was Vince McMahon's puppet, but then turned out not to be his puppet?
Well, they ramped up the silliness, didn't they?
Yes, absolutely. The thunderbolts and whatnot.
I'm always happy with that.
Okay.
See, I remember watching it, and even as a kid, I was thinking it's a bit stupid. It's a little bit stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a tough place here.
No gimmicks. You give us a score first. Let Rusty think on it.
Like you say, there was lots of stupidness going on, but it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Let's say his team with Austin. He won the tag belts with Austin. The first time he won the tag belts.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a conservative 6.
Okay.
I'll go 6.
6. I'm gonna go 5. I was debating
5.
Yeah. No, I just don't dig this era too much. I don't. Even though he was in the main events and he was in big storylines, he just wasn't my favourite guy at this point. Or he just didn't do much for me. But
he had magical powers.
He did have magical powers, yeah.
It was silly.
And he went from having magical powers to having how would you describe him? like a cult leader-esque persona where he could convince people to do his bidding for him.
Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it does it logically. It's more likely that he can brainwash people than, send thunderbolts out his finger. But we're going to call this era from December 98 to July 99. We're going to call him the Minister of Darkness. No gimmicks. Why are we going to call him the Minister of Darkness?
Because he's leader of the ministry.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Before we go into any details of this, what are our thoughts of the Ministry of Darkness as a faction?
It was great in concept, and then it stopped being great in concept. Like it was fine, The Undertaker's got a little dark cult. It was very of its time.
Yeah.
With all the vampires and fucking ghouls and shit.
We're slap bang in the middle of like Buffy the Vampire craze. So yeah.
Blade.
And Blade was massive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No gimmicks. What do you reckon? What do you think of the Ministry of Darkness?
I don't know. I never really got fully on board with it, if I'm honest.
No.
Nah. Not my thing.
Well, I want to just run through a few things that he did throughout this era. First of all, Paul Bearer turned on Kane and rejoined The Undertaker. They abducted Stone Cold Steve Austin. They attempted to bury him alive.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then they attempted to embalm him alive.
The embalming.
Fortunately, go on.
See, wrestling's obviously, it's all a show and stuff like that. But when it comes to people actually trying to murder people on TV, that's when, when people who aren't wrestling fans go, wrestling's fake, right?
Yeah.
This is what they're talking about.
Yeah. It's hard to argue.
Yeah. How can I argue that? Oh, well, wrestling's fake. Well, that guy did embalm someone once. Fuck,
Well, Kane saved Austin from it, and they threw Paul Bearer down the manhole. They put Kane's mask on the Undertaker, and Undertaker got picked up and sent to a loony bin.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Undertaker's revenge was to crucify Austin on his own symbol, his big Undertaker symbol.
He did, yeah. That's an iconic moment. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of the moment of the ministry began, I believe, anyway.
I agree.
Because from then on, he got the acolytes had started doing his bidding without anybody knowing. They just was beating people up, and it was for him. They didn't say who for. And it turned out it was the Undertaker. They abducted Dennis Knight. They put him in some kind of dungeon where they they whipped him, they beat him up, and eventually he was crucified on Raw. He became Midian.
He did.
I remember that. By crucified, I literally mean the Undertaker cut Midian's chest, cut the symbol onto Midian's chest, cut his own hand, and put it in a chalice for Midian to drink.
Man, wrestling. Why did we ever watch it?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Didn't they abduct Viscera from, what was it? Was it a Royal Rumble or something like that?
It was. He'd returned on Sunday Night Heat before the Royal Rumble, entered the Rumble match, and they abducted him straight out the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah. I remember as a kid thinking, what's going on? Why is all these guys coming out and beating up this big fat black man?
Well, I didn't watch Sunday Night Heat back then, so I didn't know that Mabel was a thing. I didn't know he debuted or returned. So I see him and go, I'm sure that guy looks familiar. Why is the Undertaker beating him up? What's going on?
And then, see him next week, and he's wearing all black. He's got fucking white eyes.
Absolutely. Next time you see him, he's turned. He's got white hair, white eyes.
Now he's Viscera. Fuck.
They also.
Who else is in the ministry at this point?
Well, they attacked the Brood, brutally beat down the Brood. Then later that night, the Brood revealed themselves as the new members of the Ministry. So an hour after being beat up by them, they were now members.
Yeah, I remember that.
They abducted Bossman at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But the next day on Raw, Michael Cole just said, "Oh, Bossman escaped, by the way."
He did say that.
That was it. Just moved on from it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Was Bossman supposed to join? But then they changed their mind. I don't know. But yeah. Then from there, the Undertaker finally moved on to obviously he had the Hell in a Cell. Let's talk about that quickly with Bossman.
What do you mean the Hell in a Cell? Do you mean the best WrestleMania match of all time?
The one where he hung the Bossman after the match. From the ceiling.
Straight up hung him.
Straight up hung the Bossman.
It looks horrific.
Oh, it does. It looks.
Like he's hanging to death.
And he's twitching, he's shaking, and his
face is all bloated. Fucking hell.
Yeah, so that happened. But then from there, The Undertaker moved on to Vince McMahon and the corporation. This is where there was an Inferno match where The Undertaker, as you said, go on, you tell it, you retell it.
Yeah, so who was the match against?
I believe it was Undertaker and Kane. I think Vince had set it up as a punishment for the Undertaker, who was
that's it.
It threatened to take over the World Wrestling Federation, and Undertaker and Kane had an Inferno match. Yeah,
and then Undertaker at some point pulls out a teddy. Vince McMahon starts begging and pleading on his knees, like this teddy's at his actual child. And Undertaker just burns it and is like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Fuck you.
And Vince is, apoplectic and just can't deal with it. I forget, is the whole Stephanie thing happened at this point?
This is the beginning of it, because that was Stephanie's teddy. Yeah.
Oh, it's Stephanie's teddy, yeah, that's right, yeah.
That was it. So other things they did, they sacrificed Rocco Rock from Public Enemy. Sacrificed Bossman. Undertaker got arrested. Ignited the Undertaker's symbol in Vince's front yard.
Oh. Do you think they would have done? Do you think they would have done that if Vince was black? I don't think they would have risked that.
No. Yeah, I think anything. That'd been a public relations nightmare.
Yeah.
What else did they do? Undertaker disguised himself as Kane so he could attack Vince. That was a brilliant moment when Kane unmasked himself in the middle of the ring. And
it was Undertaker, yeah.
Oh, and it was Taker. It was like, whoa. So I'm not seeing Kane's face, but at the same time, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
They abducted Stephanie. Ken Shamrock found her in the basement after catching Christian. He got Christian in an ankle lock during a bloodbath. So Shamrock's getting bloodbathed. He grabs Christian, holds him, gets bloodbath, but holds him in the ankle lock anyway. And Christian tells him where Stephanie is. So he rescues Stephanie, but then Christian is punished by the Undertaker, and that's how the Brood got out of the Ministry.
Thank God.
Okay. They were flogging Christian, and then Gangrel and Edge basically said no more. We're done, and they fought the Ministry, and that's how they got out of it. They then attempted to sacrifice Ken Shamrock. They did sacrifice Ryan Shamrock. They baited Ryan to catch Ken Shamrock again, even though they already had him. It was all a bit of it's basically week by week. Can we top what we did last week? It was
an absolute journey.
It was. If you just go through the network and now they've got them thumbnails to go to the specific moments. If you just click on the Ministry on every single Raw, it tells a hell of a story.
Yeah, it's like watching it like it's a different show.
It just flips just like that from Monday Night Raw to Dark Angel.
Dark Angel.
Anyway, we've dwelled on the Minister of Darkness for quite a while. So eventually, Undertaker merged the Ministry with the corporation to make the corporate Ministry, led by Shane McMahon. And from there, the Undertaker was dealing with a higher power. He was
the Howell power.
The what?
The Howard Power.
The Howard Power?
That's what Undertaker called it once. in a backstage segment.
The Howard Power.
The Howard Power.
I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, YouTube it.
I'm going to be looking for that. But from this point on, Undertaker was no longer this dominant demonic leader. He was just an underling, basically. The strongest underling, but...
It turned him into a little bitch again.
Absolutely. Under the control of the higher power. Who was the higher power?
Fucking Vince McMahon. It's me, Austin!
It was me all along, Austin.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so from there he took a back seat.
Well, there's all the rumours about who was meant to be the higher power, and it was like meant to be, could have been Jake the Snake, it could have been fucking Ted DiBiase, could have done it. Christopher Daniels, which would have been weird.
Do you know why, for the first time, I read up that was supposed to be the higher power?
Who?
The Jackal. Do you remember the Jackal?
Oh, from the fucking, with Kurgan?
Yeah, from the Truth Commission, because when Bradshaw and Farouk first formed as a tag team in late 98 as Hell's Henchmen, the Jackal was their manager. And obviously, it was Farouk and Bradshaw who were the first two members of the ministry. They were doing the Undertaker's bidding without people knowing they were doing the Undertaker's bidding. So the Jackal was supposed to manage them throughout that, then disappear, and then be revealed as the higher power at the end. But I just thought it was an interesting story. I don't know how long it was that was the plan for. It may never have been the plan. It might have just been a complete rumor, but I found that quite interesting.
I think he could have pulled it off as well, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I really liked him.
Well, he was the cult leader of the Truth Commission, wasn't he? He was a similar sort of gimmick, and as shit as the Truth Commission were, he was good.
No, I really liked him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we rate this then?
Go on, yeah. We've dwelled on it long enough. I'm going to rate it an 8.
An 8? You going that high?
An 8. I really enjoyed the majority of it for its silliness. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot up until the fucking corporate ministry.
Yeah.
And then I stopped liking it. I don't know. I'm gonna go 7.
7? Okay.
It would have been. You know what? It would have been a 9 or a 10 if it weren't for the corporate ministry.
Yeah, it just ruined it at the very end, didn't it?
Yeah.
Nah, it's 6 from me. I don't know. I was never really into it.
Fair enough. Well, after the corporate ministry, the Undertaker, he broke a baseball bat over Big Show's head. That was quite an iconic moment.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Big Show chokeslammed the Undertaker through the ring. Another iconic moment.
Yeah.
Undertaker beat Austin for the belt. Held it for, I think, about a month before he lost it back to Austin. He reunited with Kane briefly, but Kane was also teaming with X-Pac at the time. And the Undertaker was mistreating X-Pac and lying to Kane about it. Kane saw a replay of the Undertaker chokeslamming X-Pac, and that was it. They split up for good then. Well, for a long period after that, anyway.
Yeah.
Then the Undertaker took on a mentor. He was a
God.
mentor figure to the Big Show. He was the mentor of darkness.
It was trash.
Any reason why it was trash?
Because the Big Show was trash.
Yeah.
And Undertaker, being some sort of father figure.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. Because he would he would shout at him all the time.
Yeah.
And scold this big 7-foot giant.
You don't do it like
silly.
that. You do it like this.
I remember him leaving him in the ring before, in matches and stuff, as leaving him if you weren't happy with him.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Yeah. Tag matches. He would, some matches, he'd walk out and then just say to Big Show, "I'm not wrestling," and go sit at the commentary desk and leave the Big Show on his own in a tag match.
What kind of tag team partner is that?
A mentor.
Yeah, I'm giving
him the hard way.
Tough love, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm giving it a 1.
Oh,
honestly, right? Only because when I recently watched this about a year and a half ago, I hated it. I absolutely hate it.
It was definitely a step down from the Ministry of Darkness, wasn't it?
I think it was the worst thing he's ever done.
I mean, he did win the tag belts at this time. Is it once or twice?
I mean, it wasn't one of the tag belts.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, fair point. Other than that, not a great deal really went on, did it? He was just a mentor. He was abusive to the Big Show, and eventually, when the title was vacated after Vince McMahon had beaten Triple H for the belt, which is a terrible sentence to have to say,
iconic.
And Vince vacated the belt, there was a 6-pack challenge, which the Undertaker was supposed to be in to crown a new champion. And the Undertaker, his reasoning for not competing in it, I do what I want. You can't tell me to be in a title match. And he withdrew from
we're gifting you a title match.
He said no. He said no, he didn't tell me what to do.
That's why he gets one.
He disappeared. Then he pulled himself out of the match, and he pulled himself out of the World Wrestling Federation for a good period of time, probably nearly a year.
Oh, it's where he kind of broke kayfabe, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and he left for 10 months from from September of 99 till May of 2000. So he had a good period where he just wasn't around. So no gimmicks. How do you rate the Mentor of Darkness?
I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give it a 2 as well.
Damn.
So from September of 99 to May, we've got nothing. He wasn't around. He wasn't doing anything. And in May of 2000 till November of 2001, he had a brand new persona. Who wants to tell us what that persona was?
I'll go for it.
It was the American Badass.
No
gimmicks. I feel like you're going to have quite an affinity for this character. Do you, first and foremost?
Yeah, I enjoyed the American Badass.
Yeah. Did the contrast from the Dead Man to the American Badass, do you think it worked?
Oh, yeah, it was an absolute breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I think it was exactly what I needed, because it had, it had a fair old run with his previous gimmick, and then they'd just done all the ministry stuff and had a bit of a break, and I think that was a good way to come back in.
Yeah. Oh, well, literally his debut was fantastic, where it was the Iron Man match between... I mean, this is a stacked main event anyway. Triple H versus The Rock in an Iron Man match for the belt, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. You had DX and the McMahon Helmsley era all getting involved, cheating obviously on Triple H's behalf. Then the Undertaker turns up on a motorbike. Come on. I went crazy when I saw this.
See, I don't remember this much. The beginning of the American Badass, I don't really remember it because I was kind of not watching wrestling at that point.
Okay.
But
what do you remember of the American Badass then from this era, 2000, 2001?
I remember originally thinking that I didn't know who he was. Like, the first time I saw him coming on a motorbike with his glasses on and all that crap, I was like, who the fuck's that? And then it was only until he got to the ring, I was like, oh yeah, it's Undertaker. Fair enough. fair enough.
Do you think there were any concerns at the time that, he was a bit like DOA? Obviously, DOA had gone by this point, but people may have remembered from 98 to this in 2000. It's kind of gimmick infringement.
My thing is like, are bikers cool? Are they cool?
I think they've got the perception is that they are. They're tough.
I think they're losers. Anyone listening to this and you're a biker, I think you're a loser. Because I think it's you just like, oh, look at my big bike. Look at this. Brum, 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 brum. Oh, she's a beaut. Brum, 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 brum. Like, I don't care for it.
Rusty's views do not reflect my views.
They do.
Mine.
Thank you.
You both told me you hated bikers.
When? We hate cyclists. There's a big difference.
All right, fair enough.
As a car driver, yes, I hate cyclists.
No, you don't hate motorbike riders?
I'm not a big fan of motorbike. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. No,
damn, he's got me.
But for the American Badass, anyway, what did he do? Do we remember what he did throughout his initial run?
Changed his finisher.
He did, absolutely.
The only good thing to come out of it.
He'd always use the Tombstone Power Drive, hadn't he? Like from his debut, he used the tombstone. Then the chokeslam was incorporated. Now he was using no gimmicks. What was he using?
The Last Ride.
Describe it.
It was a big ass power bomb. It'd lift you up for power bomb, then lift you up a bit more, and then slam you.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it? The impact was.
It's an awesome power bomb.
Yeah, the best.
Second best.
We can tangent on that. I don't think.
What's the best
then? Batista bomb, obviously.
Ooh, controversial.
I love the Batista bomb.
I always quite like Kevin Owens' pop-up power bomb.
I do like that as well.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What about Kevin Nash's jackknife?
Anyway. No,
Okay.
That's like the...
Let's move on.
No.
It's a toss-up between Diesel's jackknife and Sid's power bomb.
My favourite is
like
the one where
garbage.
Mine's the Bubba Ray's power bomb on Mae Young through the table.
You know what? That's the best, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, during this era, The Undertaker was facing the McMahon Helmsley era mostly. He formed the Brothers of Destruction, officially naming them the Brothers of Destruction with Kane. They split up briefly. This was absolutely ridiculous. The Undertaker was supposed to take on Big Show at SummerSlam, but Big Show was deemed overweight and incompetent, basically.
Yeah.
So they sent him to developmental, where it was like, well, Undertaker ain't got a match for SummerSlam now. So with 2 weeks' notice, the Brothers of Destruction broke up, had a match, which I think it was about a 6-minute match where it ended a no contest when The Undertaker took Kane's mask off and he just stumbled out the ring and walked away.
Oh, I've got vague memories of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a thrown together angle. It was just something to do, basically, to fill in time. But
because Big Show was a fat loser.
Exactly. It was a letdown, a big fat letdown.
You've got to wonder how that happened. Because, I mean, it's not like he didn't know how to wrestle.
Exactly.
WCW, and he was arguably even more athletic in WCW.
I think it's just his habits.
And then he came to WWF and it just all went to shit.
He ballooned.
How bad is it that you win a world title and then get sent back to developmental?
Yeah. No, that says a lot. I think his attitude wasn't there. I think he believed, well, I'm a giant. I can look however I want to look. I can eat, smoke, do whatever I want. And that wasn't the case. They didn't want him on TV looking fat. But anyway, he won the tag belts with Kane and The Rock. So Undertaker is now... Let's do this. He's won the tag belts with...
4
people. Can we name them?
Oh, no, 5. Austin. Kane. Big Show.
And The Rock.
Oh, it is 4, yeah.
They're the 4 people. First 4. I mean, what a collection of tag partners that is.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know it's been slagging Big Show off, but he's still an icon. You know.
Oh yeah, I still like the Big Show. I always have.
4 absolute legends he won the belts with. But they had a thrown together match with Triple H at WrestleMania. It turned out to be quite a good match, but again, they just didn't have anything for him building up to WrestleMania 17. So he was just thrown into a match with Triple H. After WrestleMania 17, the Invasion starts picking up. Rusty, what happened to The Undertaker at the beginning of the Invasion?
Oh my God. He was getting stalked. Well, he was getting stalked, and his then wife was getting stalked. Sarah was.
Yep. No gimmicks. Stalked. Who was the stalker?
Diamond Dallas Page.
Of course. Why not?
It's me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
It's DDP.
When you've got a former WCW champion, 2-time, I believe, 2-time WCW champion,
possibly the biggest face in WCW.
Yeah,
exactly, definitely. Well, out of him and Booker T, they were the 2 biggest names that came over.
Yeah,
directly after the takeover, the buyout. Yeah. So why not have him as a stalker?
Like put him as some weird heel.
Not only that, but his first match, wasn't even a match, the Undertaker just beat him senseless at King of the Ring.
And he got pinned by Taker's wife, didn't he?
Yeah, on Raw a couple of weeks afterwards. Handicap match, Undertaker's wife pinned DDP.
My question is why would you want to stalk Sarah? Because, damn, she was an ugly bitch.
She wasn't great, was she?
No,
she wasn't great.
I hated her. I hated her. You know why I hated her, right? Because Undertaker got his fucking stupid name tattooed on his neck and it looks stupid.
Oh, I did, yeah.
And it looks so stupid. You know, as soon as he gets with Michelle McCool, he's like, I'm getting rid of that. Fuck that crap.
I am literally just looking at his second picture. His very next picture, his next era, and yeah, it's not there. It's gone. Anyway, the American Badass. He became a locker room leader during the invasion. That was pretty much his gimmick. Won some tag belts, and he was in both the elimination match of Survivor Series and the winner takes all match at the invasion. So yeah, he was a big star. He was a big name. But how do we rate the American Badass overall?
I think this is when he got first got his like recognition as like a big guy in the locker room as well.
Yeah,
like a face of the locker room.
Okay.
Like obviously, he was known and big in the locker room back before.
Yeah.
But I think this is the point where like the audience kind of realized that Undertaker was a big fucking deal.
I'm with you. I was just about to say, I think it'd always been like a locker room leader, but yeah, I agree. It became known.
Yeah.
During the invasion, there was doing like big like speeches in the locker room where he was trying to G up the troops, and it would be the Undertaker doing he stood up and spoke to everybody, inspired the locker room, and the audience got to see it. How do we feel about it? This Undertaker, which finished sort of November of 2001.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Yep. I
think it got better. The next gimmick, the next era got better.
Okay.
But I think this was a good. It was a good start. It was a good change of, pace for the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Because not only did he go from being the dead man, but he also started having quicker matches, and he was throwing doing a lot more moves. I remember.
Yeah.
And this way also became known as a striker in the industry as well.
Yeah, okay.
Which I always enjoy. I like Undertaker. I think Undertaker throws really good punches.
Yeah.
They look good. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 it was a good transition.
Okay. Solid 6. No gimmicks?
I'm torn between like a 7 and an 8 really, because I really enjoyed the American Badass.
Yeah, I understand that. I get it.
I'm gonna go 8.
Yeah.
8 it is. I'm gonna go 8 as well because of something we haven't actually mentioned.
Oh.
His theme songs.
Oh,
keep rolling.
Come on, he had Kid Rock, American Badass, Limp Bizkit, Rolling.
You know what?
Come on.
I'll give him a 7. That's brought it back up because I did always enjoy hearing his theme song.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
Dead man walking.
Keep rolling.
It was good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Big Evil. I always remember he had that T-shirt that said "Big Evil Red Devil." I loved it.
Yeah, he did. This is where he cut his hair as well. Had short little hair.
He did. Yeah. For the first time, he went for like a short hair look. He turned heel by forcing JR to kiss Vince's ass.
He did.
Because he said that JR was refusing. He said, well, I've kissed Vince's ass all these years that I've been here. Why are you better than me? Forced JR to do it. Became a heel. What do we think of Big Evil Undertaker? Rusty, you said he became more of a striker. He added more to his moves. And
yeah, he stopped looking like a stupid gimmick, I think.
Became more natural, do you think?
He looked more natural in the ring as well. Yeah, and he was better he got better on the mic at this point, and he had some pretty good matches, I think.
He was great on the mic at this point. I remember he used to be spouting about respect, and he was quite bitter, wasn't he?
He used to come. He won the hardcore belt, didn't he? And he used to fucking wear it around his neck and stuff.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he rode to the ring on his motorbike with the belt round his neck. Yeah, actually brought one of the few guys to bring sort of legitimacy to the hardcore belt.
Oh, it was a joke at this point.
Yeah, and it was still a 24/7 rule, but
who was going to pin him?
He was going to sneak up on the Undertaker.
Yeah.
So yeah, he brought credibility to the belt. He beat RVD for it, who again he had brought credibility to the belt as well.
Yeah, totally.
The Maven thing. Remember the Maven thing?
Where... getting eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
Maven eliminated him, and
yeah.
Undertaker beat him up for an hour.
It got hard to watch, didn't it?
It literally, he just battered him.
Go on, sorry.
Meant to happen, or was it an accident?
No, I think it meant to happen.
I think it was meant to happen. You know, Undertaker he never shied away from doing the deed, did he?
Exactly.
Oh, no, he's always been good at. He's a wrestling guy.
Yeah.
He's always been out of business.
That's it. And he got his revenge as well pretty quickly afterwards, so he didn't do too bad. And also around that time when he was heading into his WrestleMania match with Ric Flair, he went to like the performance, well, what called the Performance Center at the time, but to developmental, and he beat the hell out of David Flair, just to get at Rick, just for the sake of it. And so he was showing a more vicious side. He was just brutal in the way he treated people in his quest for respect.
Oh, and then he's feud with Brock Lesnar as well.
Absolutely,
Arguably, Brock Lesnar's first major feud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And put Brock Lesnar on the map.
Yeah, because Brock had been not slowly, it was pretty quick, but he was being built up. He beat The Rock in a one-off match at SummerSlam, and The Rock disappeared. And then, like you say, straight after that, it was The Undertaker versus Lesnar. And
some damn good matches.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The Hell in a Cell one was absolutely brutal.
I remember being disappointed with it at the time because they don't break out the. I think Brock goes on top afterwards, doesn't he? But they don't break out the cell. There's no spectacular bumps, but you watch it now and it is brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did a hell of a job on that.
Because at this point, Undertaker, kayfabe broke his arm as well. Well, say Brock Lesnar broke his arm. Undertaker's arm. How did he break that again? Oh, he put it on against the metal grating or something. The shutter doors and smashed it in with something.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So that sort of put Lesnar on the map. So that built right off the bat. Obviously, they were high on Lesnar from the start, but that put him on the map.
Yeah.
That rivalry. Also during this era as well, something we just skipped over was the Jeff Hardy doing something to make a name for himself. Do we remember that?
Oh, arguably one of the best matches ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, no gimmicks.
Was it a ladder match?
Yes. He Jeff attacked the Undertaker, didn't he? Out of the blue. Was it something to do with? That's right. The Undertaker had a bucket of Tommy Dreamer's vomit.
Of course.
Why not? And Jeff Hardy did a baseball slide into Undertaker, who then fell in the vomit to make a name for himself. Then they had the ladder match where the Undertaker had been demanding respect from Jeff Hardy, but in the end, when Jeff Hardy kept getting back up, he won the Undertaker's respect.
Because Jeff just doesn't know when to say no.
Nothing at the end.
Oh. So that was sort of when they transitioned from heel Big Evil to babyface, where he obviously he went up against Brock Lesnar. Also feuded with the Un-Americans throughout 2002. Don't know if that's worth mentioning or not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, the Armageddon Hell in a Cell?
When was that? That was 2000, wasn't it?
Oh, was that? Oh, we went
past that.
We skipped right over that.
That was American Badass, wasn't it?
Yeah, fuck, shit.
But again, go on, talk about the Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
I remember it being disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
Because they've got like 5 of the biggest names and Rikishi. It shouldn't have been Rikishi. It should have been any other guy.
Yeah, but Rikishi did get thrown off the cell into that.
Well, that's the only reason he was put in the match.
Because he was willing to take that bump.
Yeah. Because who was it? There was Undertaker, The Rock,
Kurt
Angle, Stone Cold.
Was it Triple H?
Triple H. You know, them 5 names alone, massive names. And Rikishi. It should have been Kane. It should have been Kane.
For The Rock.
He did it for The Rock.
He did it for The Rock.
He did it for the people.
One of the most infamous lines in wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah. I did it for The Rock.
Anyway, into 2003, The Undertaker was slightly aimless, really, as Big Evil. He did have feuds with a young John Cena. He feuded with the FBI.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he feuded with Albert, or A-Train,
oh,
as he was at this point. Then he went back into the title picture and then started feuding with Vince McMahon again, who eventually they had a buried alive match and Undertaker was buried with the help of Kane. That put to an end the Undertaker's run as Big Evil. So how do we rate Big Evil character?
Oh, you know what, right? I was going to rate it higher, but you reminded me of some of the trash from it.
Sorry. The FBI.
It does tail off a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does trail off a bit. Yeah, you're right.
Basically, after Brock.
So basically what I'm going to do is my previous vote of American Badass, I'm going to bump back down to 6.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
And Big Evil, I'm going to give 7.
Okay. Big Evil gets a 7. No gimmicks?
Yeah, I'd say 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say 7 as well. I didn't hate it, but like you say, it tapered off at the end. So that was November of 2003. January of 2004, rumors started to appear that Undertaker was coming back. He was playing mind games with Kane.
All those vignettes and stuff.
There was vignettes. There was a banging of the gong at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And the Dead Man returned at WrestleMania. Reaper of Souls Part 2, I've called him. How do we feel after the American Badass and Big Evil, and now we're going back to this supernatural kind of Undertaker?
I don't know. Do you think he cut it short? Do you think it was his decision to cut the Big Evil short and just go back to what he knew?
I think so. Yeah, I think the Undertaker was always conscious of not growing stale, and maybe I think he did prematurely cut off the Big Evil gimmick, or no, the American Badass, the non-dead man Undertaker.
Yeah.
No gimmicks. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, he's always been one to try and freshen it up. And I know you're saying he's treading old ground again, but it'd gone, what, 4 years, was it?
No, only. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, nearly about 3 years. 2000, May 2000 to November 2003.
No, if you think about it, when he last wrestled,
you're right.
99.
Yeah, so September 99 to November 2003. So yeah, just over 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's had a decent stint without.
Yeah.
And now going back to it, I think that it's a good amount of time for him to transition back into it.
Yeah. How do we like the look of this Undertaker? Still wearing like a cowboy hat, but now he's just got a leather jacket. And
this is where he basically became the Undertaker for the next 16 years in looks wise.
Oh yeah, he didn't change much, did he?
No, this is it. He had his leather jacket on, his little hat. He wore the gloves from when he was a badass, so he kept like the striking gloves.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the Undertaker. I think majority of people remember him as.
Yeah. That's it. I think because it lasted so long. Sorry, that's all. Because it lasted so long, so many people, and especially younger fans, will remember this Undertaker. Yeah.
I think it's only lasted for this long because post 2012 was it, something like that? He moved into a more part-time schedule.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the last. Well, we're going to go into probably the next era after this is where he was his final sort of full-time run. But
my final form.
As for this Reaper of Souls, he went straight into fighting Authority again. He was fighting Paul Heyman, who was the GM of SmackDown. He had Paul Bearer with him, but Paul Bearer was kidnapped by the Dudleys.
Oh, the Dudleys! Oh my God! Oh,
you remember that?
Okay, so the Dudleys match.
Yeah.
So he had that. There was a 2-on-1 match, wasn't there?
Yep, a Great American Bash, I believe.
And Heyman had Paul Bearer in a concrete prison.
Yep.
and basically said to Undertaker, if Undertaker didn't throw in the match, that they was going to bury Paul Heyman alive. Paul Bearer alive.
Yep.
Undertaker decided to have the match.
Yep.
Won the match.
Yep.
And then buried Paul Bearer alive. So he was fighting to save Paul Bearer, but in the end of the day, thought, fuck it.
Look, yeah, I'm going to kill him anyway.
What a perfect time to kill him. And wasn't this Paul Bearer's last ever on-screen appearance?
No, he did return, but only he was never full-time again. But he would make a couple of one-off appearances, which we might mention if I've noted them down. I'm not actually sure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, after that, Taker would challenge for the belt.
Oh, yeah, against JBL, yeah.
That was it. Rivalry with JBL. Then Heidenreich after that.
Fucking Heidenreich.
I know. Then after that, sort of end towards WrestleMania and beyond, it was looking like The Undertaker was being taken on some younger talent, getting younger talent. Starting with Randy Orton.
Oh, the Randy Orton stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and Randy Orton wanted to add him to the list of legends that he killed. He was the legend killer at this point.
Randy Orton's best gimmick, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Because you had the nostalgia of all these old guys coming back.
But Orton just destroying them.
Destroying them, getting himself over. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
Isn't that basically what The Fiend's done now over the last couple of years?
To a degree, yeah.
Because he took out Kane, Angle, Mankind.
Yep.
He's currently feuding with Cena.
Was Kane in that as well? Did he end Kane?
I said that one first.
Oh, sorry. Kane? Did you say Kane?
What about Kane?
When somebody think of Kane. Anyway, this rivalry with Orton. They traded wins back and forth. Obviously, Undertaker won at WrestleMania, beat Orton.
Yeah, and then he vanished for ages.
Yeah, and he came back.
I don't know why he did that.
Well, he came back to end Muhammad Hassan at the Great American Bash.
Oh, poor Muhammad Hassan.
I thought his gimmick was cut short because of the London bombings?
That was it. Unfortunately, there was a very mistimed angle on SmackDown that aired on the same day as the London bombings.
Yeah, we'll have an angle where loads of masked terrorist guys come down to the ring
and kidnap. Did they kidnap the Undertaker?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah. They carried him away. Oh, they beat him down and then carried him away helplessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was a shame, really, because
just bad timing. I mean,
well, to be honest, I think it was a bit of a DOA gimmick anyway. Because I mean, when was this? 2005.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah.
4 years after 7-Eleven, but still, it's still a bit of a touchy subject, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I mean, Muhammad Hassan was getting over massively as a heel. People,
he was great.
He
could work as well. He was green in the ring, but you could see that he was pretty good.
Yeah. It was such a shame that his career would come to an end with that gimmick, especially. It's such a shame because he could have done so much more with that gimmick and also without that gimmick. But no, WWE dropped him very quickly.
Undertaker lacerated him through the set.
And that was the end of Muhammad Hassan.
That was it. He lacerated him literally into oblivion, and that was it. Gone.
Never seen again.
Did you never work in any other promotion then, or?
Oh, maybe.
Possibly, but nothing major. He didn't go anywhere. Like he didn't get a TNA or anything like that. Yeah. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he went into a whole different profession. Like I say, he may have had a few indie shows, but he went into a different profession, definitely. But The Undertaker carried on facing Orton throughout the year. He lost to Orton. He lost to Orton and Bob Orton in a handicap match. Then Orton.
The whole Hep C thing came out, and Taker was furious.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I'm just reading about Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah.
He was meant to get a massive push, and he was meant to win the world championship from Batista.
Yeah.
He was white hot just before that.
That's nuts, isn't it?
And
he was going to become the youngest champion ever.
See, they could have aired something else instead of that segment, but they didn't think about it until they aired it, and then afterwards they got the backlash, and then just like, oh, I'm gonna have to drop this character completely. So, such a shame. Such a shame.
What could have been, eh? What could have been?
What could have been? But no gimmicks. She was talking about the Hep C problem.
I think it's Hep C because Bob Orton declared that he'd had it and then bled
in a handicap casket match against the Undertaker.
He did, yeah.
Bad. Pretty pissed off about it.
Well, that's a very naughty thing to do.
Understandably, you know.
Yeah. They also set the casket on fire. The Undertaker then returned as a casket was struck by lightning at the Survivor Series, and then he beat Orton in a Hell in a Cell match at Armageddon. And that's where I'm going to draw an end to that Undertaker at January 2006. So a 2-year run there. How do we feel about the Reaper of Souls Part 2? His return as a dead man through to vanquishing Orton in the end.
Well, he kind of returned full swing, didn't he?
Yeah.
He literally just. It's like he never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
He was like, there you go. I'm the Undertaker again.
Yeah, no mention of the American Badass. Just this is me. Yeah, what happened? Been here all along. I'm gonna give it a 5. I was fairly underwhelmed. 5. I was fairly underwhelmed with the return. I was hyped for it at the time, but yeah, underwhelmed when it happened.
I mean, I'm gonna give it a 6, but I was gonna give it a 5. But the Randy Orton match at WrestleMania was just really good.
Yeah.
So it's bumped up for a 6 for me.
Yeah, I think it's probably deserve another 6.
Okay. No, 6, absolutely fine. 14th era of The Undertaker.
Fucking hell.
We're only, an hour and 37 minutes in?
January 2006 to January 2010. So a good 4 years this is going to cover. We have The Elder Statesman. I've called him the...
First, looking at the pictures that you sent us, I really like the picture that you sent us for the Elder Statesman one.
He looks cool, doesn't he?
He looks cool as fuck with the belt. The
lighting.
The
big gold belt. Yeah.
That big gold belt suits him perfectly.
Again, he still had. Go on.
In that kind of attire as well. He's not wearing like full dead man stuff in that picture, is he?
No, he's just got his vest on.
The striker, yeah.
Yeah. The fingerless fighting gloves. I like this look. And I've called it the Elder Statesman because he would have another run. In fact, probably his last major run as a heavyweight champion.
This was his last full-time run.
Yeah, because he went after Mark Henry, who obviously was not a younger guy at this point, but he lost to Batista at Cyber Sunday, Hell in a Cell. Hang on a second, I can't even read my own notes. They had a Hell in a Cell match at Survivor Series, and then moved on to Edge. So, Rusty, you talk us through the rivalry with Batista and then Edge, because this is your wheelhouse. Me and No Gimmicks were definitely not watching at this point.
I quickly interject. Was this Hall of Pain, Henry?
No. It was just before. The Hall of Pain was like when... That was a little bit later on, wasn't it?
It's a shame, but yeah, sorry.
I'm just reading through something. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, because he did a lot in 2006.
Yeah.
Like he had the Great Khali. That was after Mark Henry. I think Great Khali was his biggest storyline of that year.
Yeah.
Because
of course.
Did you ever see the Khali match where Khali just absolutely squashed the Undertaker?
Is that when he pinned him with a foot on the chest?
Yeah, foot on the chest, took him out. Like how that's one way of fucking booking a new guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having just destroyed the Undertaker like that. Then there was the Punjabi prison match though.
Oh dear.
Oh, which Carly wasn't in. It was fucking Big Show who replaced him.
Carly, was he injured or something, or ill or something? He couldn't make it, so Big Show took his place.
Yeah, they said he wasn't medically fit or whatnot, but I think it was just because they were scared that Carly would die or kill someone again,
or just be
oh, come on! We all know he did kill someone.
He did kill someone. That did happen.
What?
He backdropped someone and held onto the legs. So the guy came down, fucking crashing on his neck.
Oh.
This was in India, so there's no footage of it, but there's stories and rumors about it.
I genuinely thought he was going to say this was in India, so no one cares.
I'm not a monster.
I thought they were going to be the words out of your mouth, but I'm glad they weren't.
Oh, good. Where am I? I'm sorry, I'm just reading through my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Notes?
I say my notes. I mean Wikipedia. But I do remember all this stuff, and I just don't want to make sure I miss anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so after the Great Khali, nothing much really happened with him. He had a pretty decent-ish feud with Mr. Kennedy for a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Kennedy, again, this is Undertaker was doing the deed for like these newer guys, which is nice.
That's it. As the elder statesman, he was tasked with getting younger guys over, and he did. He did.
Let's skip to the Royal Rumble in 2007. Yep. Undertaker won.
Yeah.
Which was like his first ever Royal Rumble win, which is awesome.
Yep.
And then he chose to go against Batista
at
WrestleMania. In arguably, it's in my top 3 favorite Undertaker matches at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
I think it's massive, and it's not because I love Batista. I think it's massively underrated.
Okay.
I genuinely think it's like Batista, like, was always known as just a strong guy who couldn't really wrestle. I think that's what people see him as a lot of times, which I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Undertaker brought out the best in Batista, and I think Batista definitely brought the best in Undertaker.
Wow.
So Undertaker won, obviously, because it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And, he don't lose.
Yeah.
Which is what? So he won his first championship in what? 4 years? 3 years?
What, heavyweight or any belt?
Just any, just normal. World Championship.
World Championship. His last one was in 1999. No, he won the Undisputed in 2002 from Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. So 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Had a pretty good feud with Batista for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you said, they had the match at Cyber Sunday, which was good.
Yeah. Hell in a Cell at Survivor Series.
Yeah. And then Edge returned at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
And cost the championship for Undertaker.
Ooh.
What a dick!
Starting their feud.
Undertaker would go on to feud with Edge for a while. A good feud. I think it was a defining moment for Edge as well.
Yeah.
It turned Edge from being he was obviously Edge was big at this time, but I think it turned him into a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go from the ultimate opportunist sort of he's been a world champion but fluky to being a main event of bona fide. This guy can hang with the big guys. Oh
well, okay. I'm going to read you something out. Okay, so
I'm going to take that as a yes.
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
At No Way Out, Undertaker was in a Elimination Chamber match.
Yep.
I'll read you the participants. We've got Batista, great.
Yep.
Finlay, that's all right.
Solid, yeah.
The Great Khali.
Gimmick.
And MVP and Big Daddy V.
Oh no!
What a big Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, well, it's big. There's a few big boys in there.
Well, basically, because I remember this match, it was trash.
Okay. So
up until the end, when it boiled down to Batista versus The Undertaker.
Nice.
And then they had a good match.
And that's Undertaker won that, is that right?
Yeah, he won that to go against Edge.
At WrestleMania
24?
And did he win? Because he'd won the belt the year before. Is that right? Or is after winning the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Oh, was that? No, I'm getting mixed up. Am I getting? Is we in 2008 now?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah. So 2007, he won the Rumble and then won the belt at WrestleMania, and then 2000
lost it to Batista.
Right, and then at 2008, he won the Elimination Chamber to get into the match, and then won the belt.
Against Edge, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And beat Edge. Did all his carried on feuding with Edge for ages.
Yeah.
For ages.
Because Vicky was involved as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, like the feud with Edge went on for maybe too long. Possibly too long.
Because Edge was with Vicky, and Vicky was the authority figure again. So once again, Undertaker's taking on the man, you know, whoever's in charge, Vicky Guerrero. And did he split them up? Am I remembering that correctly? Or Edge Taker was reinstated because it was revealed that Edge had cheated on Vicky.
Yeah, that was it. Because I can't remember who revealed that Edge cheating on Vicky thing. Now it wasn't Undertaker. It might have been Triple H.
Oh, okay.
I think Triple H revealed because he cheated on her with Alicia Fox.
Oh no.
I can't remember what else. I think that's it for me for knowledge on that.
Yeah.
I know the Batista and Edge stuff loads, but I was kind of dipping in and out of wrestling by the end of this.
Okay.
But it was a long one.
Yeah. And then he kind of moved back to a rival with the Big Show, didn't he? He had a casket match at Survivor Series.
I hate all his matches with the Big Show.
They're never good.
You know, they were always trash.
And then after that, to sort of cap off the whole era of the Elder Statesman, they had Elder Statesman versus Elder Statesman in the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25, Heaven versus Hell, which even, you know, Undertaker was wearing black.
That one, or was that the next one?
This is the very end of this era, the Elder Statesman. I mean, that's where the kind of crossover is. The build-up
match against Shawn Michaels, was that the Streak versus Korea match?
They had a match before that at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So they did it 2 years in a row. But that's where we're going to come to an end with the Elder Statesman. Where do we rate the Elder Statesman? His last big run as a world champion and his rivalry with Batista, Edge, Mark Henry, Mr. Kennedy.
I have to give it a 9.
Wow. No.
Only because this is the Undertaker I remember the most.
Okay. No gimmicks. This is going to be a hard one for me and you.
See, I can appreciate it was a good run for him. I didn't really watch much of it, but going off what I'm hearing, I'm going to have to rate it quite highly, I reckon.
What are you going to rate it?
I'm going to go for an 8.
Oh, what's Liam going for, yeah?
See, I would like to rate it high, very high, because it does sound incredible. Match with the Batista, I don't know why I called him that. Matches with Batista and Edge, but I haven't seen it. I'm gonna
honestly watch the Batista WrestleMania match as well. Whenever you get a chance, watch that match, and I think you'll be very pleased.
Right. Well, I'm going to give it a 5 for now, and I will make a little asterisk against that. If I watch that match, it may bump it up to a 6, 7, 8. I don't know. But I'm going to go for a 5 for now purely because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. January 2010 to October 2010, the Icon becomes a legend. I was struggling for names at this point, as you can tell. This is where... hang on a second. Have I got my... I'm just looking to see if I've got my dates mixed up. No. Yeah, though in 2009, they had the first WrestleMania match where The Undertaker beat Shawn Michaels. And then here in January 2010, Shawn Michaels wanted a rematch with The Undertaker, who was the world champion at the time.
He cost him the belt in a Elimination Chamber.
Exactly. Shawn he planned on winning the Rumble and then challenging The Undertaker, but he didn't win the Rumble. So he then cost The Undertaker his title so then he could have his match with The Undertaker. Storytelling, brilliant. I like it.
I agree. I think that's actually really good.
Yeah. No gimmicks, what do you reckon?
What's that?
Shawn planned on winning the Rumble so he could challenge The Undertaker for the belt. Then when Shawn didn't win the Rumble, he cost The Undertaker his belt, so then he could still have a match with him.
Yeah, I think that's good storytelling.
Yeah. And this is where The Undertaker still said, no, I've beat you. Undertaker had nothing to prove, so then Shawn put his career on the line against the streak. Any comments on this match?
Well, the Shawn Michaels match.
Yeah.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah,
it's one of the best matches of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Well, let's just say The Undertaker I know I'm jumping a little bit here, but from that point, the first match with Shawn Michaels, for the next 4 years, he had his best WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
Because he had them two with Shawn, and then he had his two with Triple H, and they were all fucking amazing.
Absolute masterclasses in storytelling. No, I completely agree. And I don't know, I couldn't pick my favourite out of the two Shawn matches, but either way, they're both absolutely up there. And this Undertaker, like I said, I called it Icon Becomes Legend because the Undertaker starts to wind down at this point. After he defeats Shawn and ends Shawn's career, he kind of drifts a little bit. He faces Jack Swagger, he faces Edge, he faces Rey Mysterio. And then Kane finds the Undertaker in a I struggle to say the word vegetative state.
Yeah.
Rusty, do you remember what happened from this point?
What, when the vegetative state thing?
Yes. For no reason. He's just like, Kane's found him. He's a vegetable. He's not responding.
Yeah. See, I don't really remember this one this much. In all honesty,
probably for the best.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is Kane's searching for the culprit, the person that did this to the Undertaker, and it turns out it was Kane.
It was Kane. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't remember it being Kane.
Of course, it was Kane. Who else was it going to be? Bloody hell. Kane defeated The Undertaker at Night of Champions, and then Undertaker staggered out the arena. He was struggling. He couldn't stay. He wasn't steady on his feet. This is a Undertaker no one's ever seen before. He's down. He can't get back up, kind of thing. And he disappeared for a little while. He was seen in vignettes in a little cabin.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Vaguely. I remember the cabin, yeah.
No gimmicks. Do you have any idea what this was all about?
No, I completely missed this.
It was just basically a way to write him off for a little while, and he was seen in this cabin kind of recovering. That was the story, is that he was regenerating his powers. He was refueling, re-energizing. Then... Sorry, I've skipped a little bit. This is when Paul Bearer turned on The Undertaker again. This was the last time Paul Bearer was seen. He turned on The Undertaker again, and Kane defeated The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match at Bragging Rights. That was when The Undertaker disappeared. He would return. He'd be seeing the vignette in this cabin. He would walk out the cabin door into a big bright light. Then he would appear at the arena when Triple H was in the middle of the ring.
Ah, yeah.
This moves on to the next sort of era. So can we just rate the Icon versus Icon Becomes a Legend? Literally just beating Shawn Michaels and then winding down afterwards.
It's tough because I think they should have just left it after the Shawn Michaels thing and didn't drag it out for a little bit.
The silliness of, well, first of all, him facing the likes of Swagger.
Yeah.
It kind of was a step down after the Shawn Michaels match, and then the old Kane shenanigans where he got buried alive and disappeared in a cabin.
It taints it, doesn't it?
It does. What do we reckon?
Well, for the Shawn Michaels aspect alone, it's getting a 9.
Okay.
But it brings it down for me to fucking hell. I'm really going to say 5. I can't believe I'm saying 5, but I'm sorry. The Shawn Michaels stuff is amazing, but god damn it.
so tainted.
They should have left it at the Shawn Michaels stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to go for a 5 as well.
Wow.
No gimmicks.
I'm going to go for a 6.
Okay. I'm assuming it's the same like the Shawn match takes it up, and then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I can use that to gloss over a lot of the crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, well, the next era, as he returns out the cabin and he challenges Triple H. Pardon me. When a clock had actually counted down to 0 and the Undertaker left the cabin, appears on Raw, has a match with Triple H, who's trying to gain some measure of revenge for what he did to Shawn Michaels the year before, retiring his best friend. Yeah. They had a no holds barred match at WrestleMania 27. A fantastic match, absolutely. Yeah. Then Taker re-emerged, interruption. I'm just retreading what I've already said. Sorry about that. Can you tell this was an era I wasn't totally paying attention to what the Undertaker was doing?
Yeah.
Then the following year, they had a rematch in a Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee.
Brilliant. My favourite one out of all 4 of the matches, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
So they called it at the end of an era match. Do you feel it? Was it?
Well, I guess it was the end of the Attitude Era in a regards, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because these guys, I mean, Shawn had obviously retired the year before, but Triple H and The Undertaker were definitively part-time. They had been for a little while, but here you go. We are not going to be prominent.
See, I think the era they were referring to is like the brutality of some of the matches.
Yeah.
Because wrestling, it's not as brutal as as hard hitting as it is now. It was back then. You look at that Hell in a Cell match, and you just look at Undertaker's back after it.
Oh God, yeah.
Triple H's back after it. It was all like bruised to fuck.
Yeah.
Because Undertaker would wail on him with a chair.
It was brutal, and Hell in a Cell matches now are just kind of they're there for the sake of it. Yeah. Whereas that was a brutal match that had to be contained within a cell. Whereas now it's like, oh, we don't need a cell to contain a match. We need a match to work around a cell kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Completely flipped round. So yeah, this era anyway, I'm calling the Last Outlaw, even though after that he would return in sort of July, helping Kane fight off some jobbers. Then Taker would return the following year to face CM Punk at WrestleMania. So we're definitely well and truly part-time. Where Paul Bearer had died, his ashes were in the urn, and Punk spilt them.
Like this match had potential.
Yeah.
It didn't go as well as I think everyone wanted it to go.
No.
I don't know. I don't think honestly, right? I know everyone likes CM Punk. I don't think CM Punk can bring out the best in people.
No.
Like I take that back. He brought out the best in John Cena.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But like a Bret Hart could have a great match with anyone. Yeah. CM Punk didn't have that quality.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I
agree. Undertaker's in his later age. He needs a bit of help through getting through matches.
Yeah.
CM Punk, I don't think was that guy.
Not at the time. No. Fair enough. No gimmicks.
This is an era I kind of missed, to be honest. So it's hard to have much input.
Well, Taker defeated Punk, obviously, at WrestleMania. Then he continued to appear after WrestleMania, to appear as the third man alongside Team Hell No against The Shield. He would be speared through the barricade by Roman Reigns and attacked with chairs, and he would disappear again until the following year. So this definitely well and truly part-time at this point. He challenged Brock, who had an open contract at WrestleMania 30. He challenged him by stabbing Brock's hand with a pen.
He did. I remember that.
Iconic moment?
I wouldn't say iconic. It was a moment.
It was a forced moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And, well, the legend fell at WrestleMania. Rusty, what happened at WrestleMania 30?
Oh, well, Undertaker lost.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough old match to watch, wasn't it?
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think the match is bad at all. I think it's a good match. The storytelling in it is, perfect for what it is. It's just, I don't know. I felt like Undertaker was gonna die. Like, Brock Lesnar fucking F5'd him like a million times.
It worked well within the story of the match, but at the same time, yeah, it was scary to watch, genuinely.
People could argue for years if it was the right decision to have Brock Lesnar beat him.
Yeah.
But it's Brock Lesnar.
I agree. It was the right decision completely. What do you reckon?
Well, because let's think of it. They could have gave it to someone younger.
Yeah.
But what if the younger person didn't amount to anything?
Exactly.
And then they've wasted.
Yeah.
The gift of losing Undertaker losing his streak.
Yeah.
Well, you give it to Brock Lesnar, who's already a fucking beast.
It meant something.
It just cemented Brock Lesnar as the guy who you have to beat now.
I feel like No Gimmicks will have an opposing view to this, but should we hear from him?
Well, yeah. See, I argued for a long time. I thought someone else should have beaten Taker for it.
Mm-hmm.
But hindsight being as it is, I think it was the right decision because it elevated Brock to that like mega star level.
Yeah.
I did used to be on the someone else should have beaten him, but it seems to have been a good decision.
Fair enough.
Like, watching that match, I've never seen a crowd react like that to a finish of a match. At WrestleMania, one of the biggest, matches of all time, and the crowd just go absolutely silent.
Yeah.
After the pin, it's like, wow, what an absolute moment.
Doing that is better than any noise you could have heard in that arena. That silence said it all.
It's great. I think it goes down as one of the most memorable WrestleMania matches of all time.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially in the modern era where events, matches aren't as memorable.
Yeah.
That definitely was. So that was the Last Outlaw from February 2011 to March 2014. Quick talk about his get-up. He had the jacket with like the spiked shoulders and the skull on his belt. Still the MMA kind of gloves.
He also had a mohawk at this point, didn't he?
He had the mohawk at this point as well.
I want keen on the mohawk.
No. How do we rate this Undertaker overall?
I liked it.
Outlaw? Yeah?
I liked it a lot, to be honest. I think, he had his dud moments in it, but, the matches with Triple H, the match with Brock Lesnar, I can't argue it. I think it was pretty good. I think I know the previous era was his last ever run.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one was his last, his last impactful run.
Yeah.
Like he was I think after this it kind of became not a joke, obviously, but the aura around the Undertaker kind of disappeared for a while after this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 7. 7. Strong. Same reason. After that, the aura of him was diminished slightly. No gimmicks.
And I'm gonna go for a 7.
7. Solid 7. Excuse me. So, from March 2014 to November 2015, we have the MMA Dead Man. He returned after Brock. In 2015, actually, Bray Wyatt challenged The Undertaker. He was slandering him. Didn't get a reply. The urn was brought out by Wyatt, and Wyatt said it was empty, but he began smoking. Then at WrestleMania, Taker got a win back. He'd lost the previous year to Brock, but now he was on the winning side of WrestleMania again.
Thumbs down.
Wyatt. Thumbs down?
Thumbs down for me.
That should have been passing of the torch.
Yeah.
He still could have given Bray a massive rub.
He'd already lost, so he wasn't going to lose the streak. The streak didn't matter.
Yeah.
Could have just lost to Bray. Would have made. See, to say, when Bray lost to John Cena, that was the downfall of Bray. No, this was the downfall of Bray. Because he was meant to be the next fucking phenom and the next, ooh, look at that guy.
Supernatural. Yeah, absolutely.
And
it was just,
they had it gifted to them on a plate and they fucked it up.
They shit all over it.
Whereas they made the right decision letting Brock beat Taker, they then took a massive misstep. Do you know what they should have done? They should have not done it at WrestleMania. and have Bray go over at, say, SummerSlam or something instead.
Could have done it, yeah.
Because then it protects Taker's WrestleMania. I mean, I know you say he's already lost and everything, but obviously you don't want him to just keep losing after he's lost that one.
Yeah.
So protect him for WrestleMania and then just have Bray go over at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And that way you've built a strong character for the future without hurting the legacy of The Undertaker. Yeah, absolutely. Well, after that match, we headed to Battleground 2015, where Taker's gong turned the lights off, and then he appeared during a Lesnar-Rollins match for the belt, where he attacked Lesnar, costing him the match. Taker then said streaks were meant to be broken, but he's had enough of Lesnar bragging about it. And they had a match where Undertaker tapped Lesnar out at SummerSlam 2015. Lesnar then ended the feud officially with a win at Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell match. Taker was beat down. He couldn't get to his feet. Bray Wyatt, well, the whole Wyatt family attacked him. Then Kane helped The Undertaker to fight the Wyatt family, well, Wyatt and Harper at Survivor Series. Just to say that The Undertaker wrestled 25 years after his debut at Survivor Series. Here he is winning again. How do we feel about the return to the Lesnar feud, first and foremost?
Them matches were brutal.
Yeah.
But especially that Hell in a Cell one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Undertaker's, was it? Could you argue Brock Lesnar's his best feud?
I think you could.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but I think there's arguments to be had that it's his best feud.
Well, that stint at the end of 2002, and then end the streak, and then the sort of rematch and the rubber match here. Absolutely.
Yeah. Gave a bit of life back into the Undertaker, didn't it, at this point?
Yeah, absolutely, he did. Yeah, he wasn't dead and buried. How do you feel, no gimmicks?
No, so I can agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, what about the Wyatt family thing? Do you think that was just a ploy just to push the Undertaker through to Survivor Series?
Yeah, it's stupid.
How do we rate the MMA Deadman from March 2014 to November 2015? After losing to Brock, to a feud with Brock and a feud with Wyatt.
3.
3.
Because it's shot all over Bray Wyatt.
No gimmicks?
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 for the same reason. I'm a massive...
We love Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I love Bray Wyatt, and I think that they fucking did him dirty there.
I think I'm going to go for a 6, more for the Brock side of it. I completely agree they shat all over Wyatt with this, but yeah, 6 for the Brock feud continuing. November 2015 to April 2017, we have the Passer of the Torch.
Oh, with like Shane and stuff.
This is where, Vince decided Shane needed a match to decide whether he was allowed to control Raw, and he decided that was going to be against The Undertaker, who's still listening to what Vince McMahon tells him to do all these years later. They have the Hell in a Cell. Shane calls The Undertaker Vince's bitch. Yeah. What do we reckon?
It's like shut up, Shane.
It's also shut up Undertaker as well, because after that, at SmackDown 900, Taker returned to say he was back. WrestleMania no longer defines me. I'm going to be there at Survivor Series to punish any SmackDown member that fails. But the SmackDown team won at Survivor Series, so he never showed up again until the following year. So he turned up to say, I'm back. Never was not seen again for like 6 months.
Yeah, like I'm back. What do you mean you're back? Like you're back? Like you're totally back.
Yeah. No, showing you his back when he walks out.
Yeah. As I'm leaving.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And then that continued into the Royal Rumble, where he'd entered. He mixed with Lesnar and Goldberg. He was eliminated by Reigns, and then took on Reigns at WrestleMania, where he was defeated again, passing the torch to the big dog. This was now Roman Reigns' yard. How do we feel about this? This is when he left his gloves, his coat, and his hat in the ring.
That was a very emotional moment, that.
It was probably the hardest match to watch with Undertaker, because I actually thought he was going to die.
It was a sorry Undertaker, wasn't it? It wasn't the guy.
It was a difficult match to watch, but afterwards, in putting all his gear in the ring, and if it just, do you know what? If his career had ended at that, it would have been perfect.
What do you rate it, knowing that the match? Sorry, his career didn't end there. What's your rating?
I don't know. It's difficult because at the time, it was such an emotional moment. Seeing someone who I grew up with, from like a very young age, seeing him go through all this and just seeing him leave it all in the ring.
Yeah,
it was yeah, quite an emotional thing. But then he went and spoiled it. Took some blood money.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that. Don't you worry. Ratings. What do we rate the passer of the torch?
I give it a 2. I really think they did the whole thing wrong.
Okay. Do you think it's the right guy, Roman Reigns?
Maybe, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
People have their opinion on Roman Reigns. I'm either or. I don't think the issue that it was Reigns was the issue.
Yeah.
I think the issue was that Undertaker, he's old.
Yeah.
He can't go in big matches anymore like that.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, it made Reigns look stupid. You know, because Reigns is like this big young up and comer, and he's struggling against, you know, a 50-year-old man.
It should have been a squash match, really. It should have been where he actually, by the end of it, Reigns sort of felt sorry for the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He was so dominant over this guy who had dominated for decades that he actually now felt sorry for this man. But,
yeah.
Well, he actually did a little bit at the end.
Slightly.
Like, when I can't remember, after he'd taken out however many spears, and the Undertaker tries to do the sitting up thing.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh,
yeah.
he does. That was quite
side.
good, actually.
And I'm fairly sure Reigns is just like, stay down, just stay down.
Yeah. No,
that was
right.
quite good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You're changing your 2.
I give it to a 3. I think it's a 3.
Okay, 3. No gimmicks?
I was going to give it a 5, but knowing what happens after this, I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm encapsulating it in the era. I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh.
Just for, at the time, like I say, that era. But then again, there was the Shane McMahon thing the year before. No, I'm going to stick with a 6. Stick with a 6. Yeah.
He's going to talk himself down to a 3 otherwise.
All right. April 2017 to April 2020, we have The Last Rider.
Oh, my God.
This is the guy that was called out by John Cena, and they had an impromptu match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, trash.
Where his gear was in the ring and was struck by lightning, so then he could return and wrestle again.
Of course.
Defeated Rusev in a casket match at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Why?
Super Showdown. He took on Triple H for the last time ever and lost.
Why?
Crown Jewel. Brothers Destruction took on DX.
Why?
Taker missed WrestleMania for the first time in a long time, but then he attacked Elias on the Raw the day after, and then at Super Showdown took on Goldberg.
Oh my God!
Appeared and saved Roman Reigns from Shane and Drew McIntyre, and then no holds barred match at Extreme Rules.
Rubbish.
And then at Super Showdown, there was this is the Super Showdown 2020. This is when he appeared to defeat AJ Styles with one chokeslam in that gauntlet match. I'm going to leave it there.
Straight to ratings?
Straight to ratings. What do we think? The Blood Money Undertaker,
0.
The Last Rider.
0.
0 from Rusty. What was it? No gimmicks?
Oh, is 0 a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.
I'm going to give it a 1.
Oh.
I hated it. I hated it.
It's
Blood
disgusting.
Money Undertaker.
The whole thing. Like, you know what, right? I'm going to tell you right now. All the other stuff could have been 10 out of 10. But the Goldberg... the Goldberg thing,
that
man.
Goldberg match. Jesus.
It was a match that should have happened 15 years ago.
That's it. It was a dream match 15 years ago, not now.
Yeah. And they also ruined Shawn Michaels' retirement.
Yeah, they brought him out of retirement for that match.
They simultaneously ruined Undertaker and Shawn Michaels' retirement in one match.
You know, Shawn Michaels didn't look like a sexy boy anymore.
No.
He like someone's old granddad.
Oh.
It's true though.
It's true, yeah. He should never have come out of retirement. for that match. Maybe something else, possibly, but not that match.
Not that.
No.
Okay,
I think
final.
it tarnishes both legacies a little bit.
It does, absolutely. And the fact they did it in Saudi Arabia just makes it even worse.
Definitely.
Okay, final Undertaker from April 2020, which we are, as of recording, still in April 2020.
Yeah, now.
We have Taker, a.k.a. Mark Calloway, for the first time kind of acknowledging his real name. And he's now a biker again.
Yeah.
He's more of a grizzled old veteran biker that's just not going to take
it's like Clint Eastwood.
Yes, Gran Torino.
Yes,
Clint Eastwood.
That is a brilliant way of putting it.
Love it, absolutely.
This is it. I would happily have this Undertaker for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Just having these matches where it's just like these fucking scripted, filmed, cinematic matches. It's perfect.
Absolutely. So, because we're basing this Undertaker era solely on the Boneyard match, aren't we? Because nothing else has happened.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I was going to say about the rating. I don't know if we can actually fairly rate this because it's only just started.
Okay.
Because we don't know. He might never do anything ever again.
No, you're right. That could be it. One and done.
If I was going to rate the match gets an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for me.
Ooh.
But can I rate him as an era? Oh, I don't know. It's a tough one because it's not an era yet.
So what would you, based on the Boneyard match? First of all, what are your feelings on the Boneyard match?
Brilliant.
No gimmicks.
Yeah, it was. They did it exactly how it needed to be done.
Yep, totally.
For Undertaker to be able to perform.
It was like an old action film with a bit of horror thrown into it.
So, because the thing is, critics can no longer say, "Oh, the Undertaker's past it; he can't go in the ring. This match sucked because he's not good enough." They did something different, as well as WrestleMania being different this year because of the coronavirus. They did this Undertaker match differently, highlighted him in a different way. It wasn't wrestling, but it was.
They've accommodated Undertaker as a character more than as a wrestler.
Exactly.
Do you think this was always meant to be the plan? Or do you think the coronavirus changed it?
Oh, that's a good point. But then again, I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to think...
it's WrestleMania. Surely Undertaker's going to appear at WrestleMania.
You've changed my mind there. Unless he was just going to ride out after he'd won. Right, like Goldust and Roddy Piper when they had that backlot brawl, Hollywood backlot brawl.
Yeah.
They had that, and then Goldust scarpered, and Roddy Piper chased him to the arena where they then walked down the aisle and finished off the match. They could have done something like that, but I do think without the coronavirus, I think it would have just been a basic match. So
what you're saying is the coronavirus is a good thing?
I'm saying thank God for the coronavirus.
Yeah, the coronavirus sucks and it's horrible, but if one good thing came out of the coronavirus, we can say it gave Undertaker one of his best matches in a long time. The
Boneyard match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, again, it wasn't wrestling, but it was perfect for The Undertaker.
Yeah.
At this point. And AJ was great in it as well.
Yeah.
I could see them doing another couple of these. I'm happy to see another few of them. Maybe one where where Undertaker sat, like that cabin where he was in his cabin.
Yeah.
Like Undertaker just in his cabin, just, enjoying life, and then a group of young and up-and-coming wrestlers, like, a gang of them, come and try and take him out, and then he's like, like Gran Torino, he has to fucking fight off a gang. It'd be good.
Yeah, I like that, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, obviously the gang would have to be like a pretty decent up-and-coming, like, gang.
Yeah.
It can't just be like loads of random jobbers.
No, it's got to be somebody that's going to benefit from this.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we rate Taker, aka Matt Calloway?
Like I said, it's a tough one to rate. I'm actually going to abstain from rating this one.
Wow. Okay.
Only because I can't rate something that's only just begun.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a 5, just middle of the road for that. Same reason, but it's different.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 because it started strong, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, all right. Fine. Put me as a 5 as well, then, just for the middle ground.
Okay.
I will add though that I would like to see him and Bray go again.
Yeah.
So like once the Fiend's finished with Cena and they do the right thing and
no, the Fiend's finished with Cena now.
Is that all done?
Yeah, he's going against Braun Strowman now.
No, that's a shame.
For the title.
I don't want him in the title picture. That's the thing.
Well,
I'd like to see him
because he said to Braun that he's the one who brought Braun into the world, so he's going to be the one who takes him out, which is great.
Ooh, okay, yeah. But now that he's got his kind of revenge back on Cena, I'd like to see him maybe get his
revenge on
Undertaker in something like really wacky, like a Circus of Horrors or something like that kind of match where Taker goes through this kind of like ghost train ride thing, maybe brings up bits of his past.
Yeah, where Undertaker's not the one with the fucking like the supernatural powers.
Yeah, the Fiend's
the Fiend's destroying him because
like
that idea.
Chucks him into this like ghost train and it goes through and it just brings up these nightmares for Undertaker, and then at the end of it he just like mandible claws him and wins.
Yeah, totally.
Would we like to hear the results of our rankings?
Yeah.
Have you got them all straight away?
I've got them.
I hope so.
Nearly.
Like nearly 2.5 hours in now.
I'm going to say right now to Liam, we are not doing the ECW thing today.
No, we are not. That will come in another podcast.
Another podcast, everyone can hear the ECW thing we're on about.
Yes, but we'll tell you more about it in that podcast. You have to listen for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to run through 20 to 1. Okay. There's a few, obviously, same scoring ones, so I'm just going to tie them at whatever number they rank at. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 20th position we have the Last Rider, the Blood Money Undertaker.
I had him as my last, to be fair.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 point. Then in 19th we have Mentor Undertaker, the Mentor of Darkness.
Okay, yeah.
Mentor in the Big Show.
Yeah, terrible.
18th we have Phantom of the Opera Undertaker.
Phantom of the Opera.
He had a lowly 9 points. 17th we have the initial Dead Man, so from 95 into 96, when he was facing Ted DiBiase with 11 points. In 16th place we have the MMA Dead Man. So just before he passed the torch, that's
yeah, that's one, yeah.
When he lost to just after Brock Lesnar. Pardon me. 16th. 15th we have the pass for the torch, where he passed the torch to Roman Reigns, 13 points that was. This is where it gets hard because then we start duplicating. So in joint 13th place we have, I've put IBL. What does IBL stand for?
IBL?
IBL.
IBL.
Icon becomes a legend. So after he'd beaten Shawn but wasn't really doing much after that. Joint with Mark Calloway, the current Undertaker, both with 16 points. In 13th place right now. If they say this is where it gets really difficult. In joint 10th place, we have Reaper of Souls 2, when he returned as the Dead Man. We have the Dark Lord, so just before 98 when he was feuding with Austin.
Yeah.
We have the Phenom when he won the belts in 97. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite high, that one for him then, the Phenom.
Yeah, not done too badly. Okay, and then this is where it gets super ridiculous. In joint 5th place.
So there's 5 of them.
Yeah, we have the Western Mortician, the original Undertaker, 21 points. The LR. What's the LR?
Oh, Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger, well done. Yeah, Lone Ranger, 21 points. We have the Minister of Darkness. So joint 5th for the Minister of Darkness. And we have Big Evil.
Oh, okay. The good version of.
Yeah, the good version. Then in joint 3rd place, so we have 2 of them. We have the Last Outlaw.
Which one's that? Yeah, that one, yeah.
That's the one building up to losing to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And we also have ES. What does ES stand for?
ES.
The
ES.
Elder Statesman.
Yeah.
That's the one. We're in third place with 22 points. Then, so in second place, we should have one thing, but we don't seem to be able to. There it is. In second place, we have the Grim Reaper. That is the one that just after his rivalry with Mankind, after he'd won the belt, when he was facing Shawn Michaels and the beginning of the Kane story.
That's one of his shortest eras.
Yeah. And it came second with 23 points. And with 24 points, we have the American Badass.
Oh my God, really?
To us, the American Badass was the best era of the
Undertaker. Are you kidding me? And we voted the American Badass as his best gimmick.
Oh, that's going to be very divisive, isn't it?
Oh my God, you two are idiots for voting that one too high.
People are going to be fuming.
We're going to get crucified, aren't we? We're going to get crucified on Facebook.
I can't believe you voted the American Badass higher than some of these amazing fucking eras.
I'll tell you what, I've miscounted. That's wrong.
Oh my God.
The American Badass only has 22 points, so the winner is the Grim Reaper.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
So wait, we went from American Badass to like one of his shortest.
The
era.
Origins of Kane, the Origins of Kane was first place, whereas American Badass fits in joint third place with some others. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. It's been a long one, but we have defined the greatest era of The Undertaker being the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
The rivalry with Shawn Michaels in 97 and the Origins of Kane.
So we basically voted for Kane to be the best Undertaker era.
Pretty much.
Should we close this off? It's been longer than I
Please,
thought.
I need a wee.
Yeah, it's been. I'm starving.
We're going to do a few more podcasts during this lockdown. It's going to be this format. So
we're definitely doing shorter ones.
We will. They're not going to be this long every time. But this has been the ranking the eras of The Undertaker. I've been Flemerald, joined by Rusty.
Hello.
No. Joined by No Gimmicks Needed.
Yo. Just dying here.
And Rusty Pudding.
Goodbye.
Did you figure out which one of us has the coronavirus? Which one of us needs to call an Undertaker?
Oh.
Find out in the next podcast.
Because one of us won't be here.
Stay home, stay safe.
Watch your hands.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.